What if I told you there was an NFL player who physically couldn't be guarded? He was double-teamed, triple-teamed, sometimes even quadruple-teamed. But here's the crazy thing. Bob Lilly lived a shockingly quiet life on a farm. He'd never lifted weights like other defensive linemen, but he was just as powerful.
No muscle definition, but when he put those pads on, number 74 was an unbelievable football player.
This is the story of how a farmer became one of the most terrifying players in history. And his story starts in the small town of Throckmorton, Texas.
I started driving a tractor when I was 8. I not only got to mow the hay, rake the hay, and bale the hay, but I got to haul the hay.
But here's the crazy thing. This farm boy went from hauling hay to dominating football just like that. But then, something even crazier would happen. Bob Lilly became the very first player to be drafted by the newly formed Dallas Cowboys franchise. But Lilly's path to success wasn't a simple one. You see, when the Cowboys entered the league in 1960, they didn't even get to draft anybody. So their roster was just free agents and cast-offs from other teams. No young talent, no foundation, just whoever they could grab.
You can imagine there wasn't many teams that could be, lower than we were.
We had players not show up for practice. We had some not show up for games, and it was a different kind of a group.
So it was no wonder they went 0-11 in that first season. They were set up to lose from the jump. But then came Bob Lilly, and that's when the Cowboys started thinking about the future. And once Lilly got settled into the NFL, he blossomed into one of the best pass rushers in the league. Now, sacks and tackles weren't really recorded back then, so it's hard to know just how impactful players actually were. But here's the thing. Bob Lilly was someone who didn't need stats to prove how dangerous he was. And here's what set him apart from many of his contemporaries. Despite standing at 6'5", Lilly built a reputation as a quick and agile force. Even without precise 40-yard dash times, his speed was widely acknowledged at the time. Bob Lilly was different, and those who didn't know that found out in 1964. His impact on the Cowboys was so evident that he earned All-Pro honors.
Bob Lilly, en route to earning All-Pro honors as a defensive tackle, has been spectacular for the Cowboys.
In 1965, Lilly had firmly established himself as one of the league's elite, as once again, he earned an All-Pro first-team selection. Lilly had helped transform a bunch of rejects into a serious franchise in the NFL.
The best defensive tackle in the NFL is worth a team of lesser men. At 26, Bob Lilly is a superstar. No one is better.
Everyone knew how good Lilly was. The question now was, could he lead them to glory? Then came 1966, and it brought the complete transformation of Bob Lilly. Bob Lilly had 15 sacks that season, which actually led all defensive tackles in the league. Remember, most defensive tackles in that era were just pluggers, guys whose job was to eat blocks and stop the run. Not just that, but Lilly was almost always double-teamed. The idea of an interior penetrator like an Aaron Donald today wasn't common. Bob Lilly was basically inventing it.
An isolated study of Bob Lilly reveals the agile tackler's All-Pro credential. He fights off Wooden's block, nails Kelly on a crossback. Then he overpowers the blocker and causes Ryan, here, to fire too quickly and incomplete on the pass.
By season's end, Lilly actually finished 7th in the All-Pro MVP voting. But none of that mattered because the most important thing to Lilly was winning. And boy did the Cowboys win in '66. A 10-3 record plus a tie secured them a spot in the NFL championship game. Unfortunately, their opponent was the Green Bay Packers, the reigning champions. The Packers were simply too strong for the Cowboys and would go back-to-back. This loss drove Lilly to work hard on his game throughout the offseason. And in 1967, the Cowboys would get their opportunity for revenge. In the NFL championship game, it was the Cowboys versus the Packers once again. Winning this could have been the turning point in Lilly's career, but instead, the opposite happened.
The temperature at kickoff for the 1967 NFL championship game between the Cowboys and Packers was -13, dropping to -15 degrees during the game, -48 degrees when you added in wind chill.
We had some definite lung damage, and like I said, 5 guys got frostbite, and that tested us.
It falls incomplete. The clock has run out. And the Green Bay Packers, in one of the most thrilling comebacks of all time, have beaten the Dallas Cowboys to win.
They called it the Ice Bowl, where Lilly and the Cowboys suffered another devastating loss to the Packers. But that elusive Super Bowl had him hungrier than ever. In 1968, Lilly continued to be a nuisance for opponents. He was probably the best defensive player that year, right behind Dick Butkus himself. However, the playoffs offered another disappointment.
The Cleveland Browns had won the Eastern Division title, and in doing so had decisively beaten a team experts had chosen as successor to Green Bay's Packers.
Fans watching at home had to wonder if their team would ever overcome the hurdle. Bob Lilly, though, his skills kept scaling new heights. He was basically triple-teamed on every play, but Lilly still managed to find a way through. The NFL had no answer for him as he guided the Cowboys to their first ever Super Bowl. But like clockwork, disaster struck again.
The winner of the 1970 season's championship was still in doubt with only 9 seconds remaining. And then rookie Jim O'Brien.
The Cowboys almost seemed destined to never win the big one. And Bob Lilly had enough. He was so mad, he threw his helmet some 30 yards downfield. 5 playoff appearances, 0 Super Bowls.
Bob was just frustrated at the end of the game, as everyone was. Here we came so close again.
That's what all the publications said, Dallas Cowboys bridesmaids of the NFL. I'll never forget that title as long as I live. We had one goal, that was to go back to the Super Bowl and win it.
1971 seemed like the final chance for Lilly to will his team to victory. Many wondered if a 32-year-old could lead a defense all the way. Time was running out, but Bob Lilly would rise to the occasion, helping the Cowboys go 11-3 en route to the playoffs.
Lilly has played in 154 consecutive games since joining the Cowboys in 1961, and he seems to get better every year, if that's possible.
But if Lilly wanted to be considered the best defensive tackle ever, he had to win the big one. The stakes couldn't have been higher. But Bob Lilly was finally a Super Bowl champion. But here's the craziest thing about his career. Bob Lilly was never the strongest player in his position. In fact, his teammates even watched him struggle to bench press. But once he got on the field, this farm boy was throwing guys around like they were bales of hay. They called him Mr. Cowboy because it all started with him. And from that foundation, the Dallas Cowboys built a dynasty.
The heart for the game is the ability to compete, whether you're hurt or not, to go all out no matter what the conditions of the weather, what the score is, if you're down 50 points or if you're up 50. It's just every play is the most important play of your life.
If you enjoyed this Bob Lilly story, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.